I'm Donna Maria, the founder and CEO at the Indie Business Network, and I'm also an attorney and a certified entrepreneur mentor. And my passion is helping people build a profitable business that makes them happy and successful and can generate income for life.
Yes. Okay.
That's all I do, all day, every day.
All day, every day. And before this, you said you were a product maker and you started this. We on what, 20
Yeah,
years?
well,
22?
1995 was when I actually learned how to make soap. Back then there was an internet, but it really wasn't. No one really had it.
Right.
I worked at a phone company. I worked at a long distance telephone company, which meant that I could make friends with a soap maker in Texas, and I was in Washington D.C. She taught me how to make soap on the phone, but I didn't have to pay a long distance bill because I worked for a long distance phone company at the time. So that's how I learned how to make soap. And I ultimately, you guys understand this, right? Like the world doesn't understand this. The first time you make something like a bath and body product, maybe it's a candle, a bath bomb, a bar soap, it's like, can you think of anything else ever? Like everything became a soap mold. Like I would
Yep.
go to the store and I would buy like a case of candy that had what I thought was a great soap mold. There'd be like 100 little containers of candy, and I would buy the whole case and dump all the candy out and then go home and make the soap. And I would give the candy away like for Halloween or to my girlfriends or something, and I would use it to make soap. That is how over the top I was. I still am. I just don't do it as much, but I can tell you, like tennis shoes, I put everything in soap. I had a little mini fire in my kitchen because some of the stuff I put in soap. Yes, you do
Let me
have to
tell
be
you, we have
careful.
somebody in here, and she did the same thing. She used aluminum to for her lye water, and she's like, I
Oh,
almost had a mini fire.
yes. I had a little flame that shot up from my lye water up to the ceiling. It left a singe on the ceiling. I got in trouble with my apartment manager. It was interesting. It was a fun journey, and I'm fortunate that nothing burned down. But that is what my life was like when I discovered this, and that is when I knew, like so many of you understand what I'm talking about. When you knew that no matter what you had done before, this was gonna have to be a part of it. You were either gonna stop doing that and start doing this, or this was just gonna have to fit in. There was just no way around it.
That's right.
And then it wasn't too far after that that you started thinking about dollar signs. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I was so obsessed. I was like, I wanted to make all of the things. I had to, all of them, all the things. And I'm like, oh, I got to make bath bombs. I want to make this. I want to make that. And everything just kept, and then when you're watching other people make things, you're like, oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. I want to, and then you're just
Yes.
trying on your own because like you
Yes.
said, everything was a mold. When I
Yes.
started, there was they have the little we were still lining the wooden blocks, the wooden molds with the parchment paper. That's how I learned.
Oh,
I didn't have the
parchment
silicone.
paper. Girl, I was using
Yes.
grocery store bags.
Oh wow.
We put grocery store bags and spent all day smoothing them out so the soap wouldn't have any
Yes.
grocery
The
store, and the
wrinkles.
grocery store bags, the soap would pick up the logo. So your
Yep.
logo would say like giant, your soap would say like giant food on the side. You had to scrape it off. Yeah. Yeah. Back
Those
in
are
the day.
the good old days, right? The
Yes.
good
Well,
old
and back
days.
then too, you could actually buy lye in the grocery store. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yes, you could buy it in the grocery store. I used to buy it by the case.
Yep. And then you
Yeah.
said I said the same thing. I'm like, I remember that you were able to buy lye in the store, but you can't find it anywhere.
Can't. Nope.
I guess it's all the soap
We
makers of
made
the
it go
world.
away.
Right.
We scared them. We scared them to death. So now they don't sell it anymore.
There's like
But
no soap for nobody.
right.
That is absolutely the truth. And like I said, when I started making, there was the couple of the Nature's Garden, the vendors, the suppliers, they were the ones that were doing the videos and things like that. But when you started to ask people in the community, nobody wanted to help you. Like you really didn't have a way, unless you knew somebody, like you said, somebody helped you long distance. I had somebody, I had Kimberly, I'm forgetting her name right here, from Nature's Art. She was the one who was helping me to make soap. And she only helped me, she said, because I looked like I wanted to learn. And so she was like, all right, get out of the comfort zone. Get out of the comfort zone. We're gonna make soap with lye. And I was like, lye? I'm good with melt and pour. I don't want to work with lye. And she was like, girl, go ahead, just try it. And that's when we had Skype. And so she would get on with Skype with me and she watched me make soap. And we would have conversations every morning to make sure I was, she made sure my head was right to make the soap. But back then we didn't have mentors like that.
Right.
They
were few and far between and hard to get in touch with.
Right. And then, like I said, they did not want to share information. Right now, you could get information everywhere. But how did you decide that a community was the thing that you needed? Because when you started, you didn't have anybody but, somebody over the phone to show you.
I'll tell you exactly what happened. You've probably heard of the Cosmetics, Toiletries, and Fragrances Association, which was the trade association that represented the cosmetics companies. Well, when I started my cosmetics company, the first thing I did was join that organization. And the second thing I did was to join their small business committee, because I was like, I'm a small business. I'm in the same organization as L'Oreal and Revlon.
Yeah.
That's quite a mismatch. So I said, let me join the small business committee and get involved. And because, I'm an attorney, I have a legal background, a business background. Let me join. And it costs way too much money because they're like have big companies in there.
Yeah,
but anyway, I said, let me join. So I joined. And 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, they disbanded the small business committee. And when I asked them why, they said there's no demand for it. And a light bulb went off in my head. And I said, well, I don't know what y'all see, but I know there is a demand for it. Y'all just aren't interested because you just want to serve Revlon. Yeah. So I said, well, there's a demand for it. And so the small community of people that I knew in my local area who were making products, I started an organization and they were my seed members. I called them seed members. They were free members. They joined for free and basically told me what to do. Like, what do you need? We need this. Right. Okay, I'll give you this. It was a lot of legal and regulatory training and stuff that they needed. So I created the Indie Business Network, which at the time was called the Handmade Toiletries Network, which who says toiletries anymore, right? But
right, then, it doesn't have the same ring.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Right. And people would call me and they would say, "What's your website?" And I would say handmadetoiletries.com. And they would ask me how to spell it, and I would say TOILET, and they would say, "Oh, like toilet?" And I would say, "Yes, like toilet." And I thought, my poor members, like joining an organization with the word toilet in it. So we changed it to the Handmade Beauty Network. And then we changed it to the Indie Beauty Network and then the Indie Business Network, because our members have expanded to include more than beauty product manufacturers. So we have food manufacturers, we have fitness instructors. It's a community of artisan-based, handmade, small American makers from different walks of life. And I find that when you cross-pollinate where you learn from in different industries, you get new and different ideas, and you're able to get different sort of input into growing your business. And so the Indie Business Network is the name that we're not changing it anymore. Too many changes. No more.
Well,
changes.
You can't change it now. Everybody knows you for the Indie Business Network. At least I know for 12 years it's been Indie Business Network, and it has not changed.
Yes, but that's how it started, because there was an organization out there. So I kind of watched the larger organization and how they did things. And I said, okay, I like that. I like that. I don't like that. So I kind of pick and chose what they did. And that's what I input into the Indie Business Network. And then we just sort of have, grown from there.
Good. And I'm so grateful that you decided that this is, and you had the foresight, right? It's foresight. Did you foreseen that the community was going to be this big? Now, when you started, did you think that it was going to be like I know you said you had an idea of where it was going because you felt that there was a need, but did you
Mhm.
know that it was going to be like this?
I did. But you know what? It wasn't necessarily that I thought the handmade bath and body and candle community
Yeah.
would. I think what I saw was people unhappy with how they supported themselves. Like you see that a lot today, but I saw the grumblings of it 20 years ago. And I was
Hmm.
one of those people. So when I would talk to my colleagues, they would say things like, that we're happy to make all this money, but we really hate our jobs. And I
Mm,
was thinking, well, then why are you here? And then I started to think, well, I don't really like mine either. But for me, I was just like, well, I'm not going to do anything that I really don't want to do anymore. So I quit. Most
hmm.
of them, after I quit my job, would come to me and tell me things that they would never told anybody else. Like, I want to quit and become a ballerina, or I want to write plays, or I just want to play the flute all day long. And, they just didn't see back then that there weren't avenues for people to quit their jobs and figure out how to turn I know how to play the flute into making money, because there
Right.
was really no internet to speak of and there were no examples of it. The way you made money 25 years ago was you got a job, you kept that job for a long time, then you might
Hmm.
get another job, and eventually in the same industry you would retire, which is a word I don't use, but I'm
Right. Right.
saying it because that's what it is. But today, so I don't think I necessarily saw this industry growing like that, but I did see people, and 25 years ago, there were like, I saw the unions disappearing. That
Okay.
was one of the
Yep.
things that clued me in too. I was like, these big companies are not, they're just not going in the direction that we need them to go in. You need to have an income stream of your own. And if you don't have that, then you are at the mercy of these third parties, these companies who have
Yeah.
an agenda that is totally different from yours. And it's great to have a job if you can get one. It's great to have a job if you want one. But it's becoming more and more dangerous not to also have a way to make money yourself
Hmm.
if that job, for whatever reason, changes so that you don't like it anymore, or it goes away, or it relocates, or it goes bankrupt. All sorts of things can
Right.
happen. So I left my job. Now, I'm not advocating that anybody do that. I was not married and I did not have children at the time. It was just me. And if I starved, who cared, right? If I had had children, might have been a totally different
Right. Right.
scenario. But so, think it through in your particular situation. But for me, there was practically no risk. And so I said, let me just try it. And I ended up going back to work after a while because my retail store closed because I didn't know what I was doing. And I actually I went to do my taxes that year, and I told my accountant, I said, I am never going to be an entrepreneur again. I hate it. I got my store was robbed, like I was robbed.
What?
Yes, I was. And so I was like, I just want a job. Just give me every 2 weeks a paycheck. And he looked at me and he said, I give you 12 months, 12 months. And sure enough, 9 months later, I said, I quit again. And I never went back after that.
Right. Because you
Yeah.
had a taste of your independence,
Yes. Yes. That
even though
freedom
the
and
unfortunate
flexibility.
events. Yeah.
Yes. Freedom, flexibility to me it makes me happy. Like, and no matter what I do, if I can be free to make my own choices and I can have flexibility, which was super important to me, especially when my children were young, I needed
Hmm.
that. And I didn't
Right.
see my current career path was not giving it to me. And I saw older women having children in my professional career path, and they would come to work crying. And I was like, I do not, I just don't, the Mercedes is not worth that much to me to
Right.
come to work
Right.
crying every day. So it's personal choice for sure, but
Hmm.
there is no better personal development tool on the planet than entrepreneurship. And it's
Right.
for everyone. Entrepreneurship is for everyone.
And then I will also want to say, I also want to stress that when you are moving forward in the right way, when you have the tools and the resources and the community to move forward in the right way, it doesn't seem as stressful as being out here on your own. And that is what
Yeah.
I loved about IBN, because I was I was on every podcast you had. I was everywhere. I was on Facebook. I was everywhere. I was like, wherever Miss Donna Maria is going, that's where I'm going. Oh, if she's on, gotta go. And
Well,
I
thank
even I can
you.
remember you had a show and somebody, and I don't even know if you're going to remember, but you had a call and I think you were in the living room or somewhere, and you said somebody was doing the pinup kind of vibe, and that was the and they were asking you what your your advice, what direction should they go, and they had some kind of weird logo or something didn't match the brand, and you just came up with everything, and I was like, that's what that looks like. And you just made everything just come full circle for me because I had no idea what I was doing. I
Yeah.
was winging it like everybody else.
Right, right. And in entrepreneurship, there's always a certain amount of winging it. Like we just launched a new product today. I'm winging it. Like I studied and I did research, but everything is an experiment at its beginning, at its genesis. It's a vision, and then you do your best to put your best out there, and you know that you're going to either improve it or you're going to discontinue it. Like those are
Right.
the two options. So every first effort is your first effort. It's an experiment at the end of the day. And if you can learn how to enjoy that process and learn from other people and use the internet and your personal network as a school, like it's a school and you can
Hmm.
learn anything, especially since today, as we all know, if you see a business model that you like, all you have to do is follow them every day on every social media outlet, subscribe to their newsletter. If they have an event, go to the event. If they have a podcast, listen to the podcast. And in 30 days, you can know exactly how that business works. You can know who the employees are and what they do. You just know the story of the founder, and you can rinse and repeat what fits you, and so success leaves clues.
That's right. That's right. And I say the same thing. And as you say that, that's how I look. That's how I was looking at you. So when I modeled Bubble Babes University, is kind of piggybacking off of what I've learned from IBN. And I was like, it was so refreshing for me. It was really refreshing for me. And I met a lot of friends within the network that are still friends today. Some are making soap, some are not making soap, but some stayed, most stayed.
Good.
A lot of things, a lot of people, life happens, and
Hmm.
so they did what they have to do. But for
Hmm.
the most part, a lot of people stayed. Now, how did you fund IBN?
uh, well, in the early days I had no money, but my husband had a job, and we just he paid all the bills. But let me just tell you, that was in 2000, and in 2003, we had two small children, and he got laid off. And this is
Mm,
another reason, Nikki, why I knew something was coming. I knew the lot I because he was a very early layoff, right? Because the
okay.
Great Recession didn't happen until 5 or 6 years later. But I had a feeling. I was like, he's at the beginning of this, like, and it came to pass. So what we did? We just bootstrapped. That's what we
Hmm.
did. We bootstrapped. And every day I set a financial goal. I want to make this much money today. And I would use Twitter at the time. There was
Hmm.
Twitter, and there was basically a newsletter. That was all there was. I published a newsletter every week for 20 years. And
Wow.
that was how every single week. I missed one week when my daughter was born. People thought I had died. Like they were like, "Oh my God, there's no newsletter. Is she
Where is
okay?"
this newsletter?
Right, right. It's a couple weeks after she was born, she got sick, but that was how the business grew. And I will tell you that even today, with TikTok and all the other things, if you don't have a newsletter or SMS or a way to get directly to your customer without having to go through a third party platform, you are leaving money on the table, and you're
Hmm.
also putting your business at risk of the whims of the algorithms and changes of a third party that doesn't care about your business at all.
Hmm.
So the newsletter and the direct contact to the customers, it still works just as well today as it did, even better, because the
Right.
technology has improved.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to
That's
rely
how
on a
we did it.
phone call. You don't have to rely
Yes.
on, yes, that's so much better. And then I do remember like there mailings and things like that. We don't have to do
Mhm.
that anymore. We could send it just like that.
Mhm. You can. You
Mm-hmm.
can. And I think there is definitely a continues to be a place for like direct mail, because I think that people want to have things in their hands. Like I think there was a time when that was kind of going away, but I do think people appreciate the extra effort that business owners make, because now it's not easy. It's easier to start a business today, but I think it's actually harder to grow one,
Yeah.
because the barriers to entry are lower. Like you can get supplies from anywhere. When I started my business, I had to like beg for supply resources and drive all around the creation trying to find where to buy stuff. Right. Well,
Right.
today you can just Google and you can have it like the next day. So it's
Yes.
easier in that sense, but it's more of a challenge because there are so many people doing it. So you have
Yes.
to work harder to distinguish yourself. You have to work in a different way, not necessarily harder, but you have to work in a different way to develop your brand and to be very targeted with the customer that you want to attract to your shopping cart or to your show or whatever it is. Because by the time they get to you, you want their credit card to be hanging halfway out of their wallet.
That's right.
Right. There, you don't want the tire kickers. You want that they're for out there somewhere. But by the time they get to you want them to practically be ready to buy.
Mm-hmm. That is great. And that's sound advice, you guys. I hope you guys heard that. And I hope you guys are writing things down because you know how we say yesterday's prices is not today's price. So you make sure that you are writing things down. Are you still coaching or now you don't do that as much? Still?
I coach inside my membership, and I do some coaching with the Small Business Administration through their particular program, but most of my coaching now is done internally inside the membership. But I have a coaching session with my members every week.
Nice, nice. And also, I wanted to add when things started growing and you start like now you can do coaching sessions and is you can have a group. But before I would see you and it was like one-on-one kind of, or people would call in or they would send you a
Mhm.
message and then you would kind
Mhm.
of do it one-on-one. So things have changed now that you can do a whole group session. Is that better for you? Is that a pivot?
Back in the early days, there was a company, and I think they still exist, called freeconferencecall.com. And
Mm-hmm.
so you could get like a free toll-free number and everybody could call into a conference
Yes.
bridge. We did that. That was no Zoom, but that's what we did. It was all audio. And before that, I had cassette tapes.
Wow.
I did. I had cassette tapes. I found some the other day. People still mail me cassette tapes from like they were cleaning out their houses and they found one
Yes.
of my old cassette tapes and they mail them to me. So I have some in the garage, which is
Right? They're like, if
interesting.
you feel nostalgic.
Yes, it's so funny, but I had events, and we still have events at the Indie
Yes.
Business Network, but I would host events. But I did a lot of talking on the phone. And by the time the Indie Business Network started, there was freeconferencecall.com, and we would have these phone calls, and the audio sounds so awful. Like we still have some of the recordings because we
Yes.
transcribed them and saved them as MP3 files, which didn't exist back then. But we
Mm.
have them now, so we could download them onto our iPhones or what have you. And when I
Yeah.
listen to them now, I'm like, that is some lousy audio quality. But that's all we had back then, and
Right.
and it
Like you had
worked,
nothing to compare it to. Like what could you compare it to?
didn't
Right?
it really worked. But you know what, Nikki, the real magic does not happen with me. The magic happens in the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the magic happens. And that's one thing that I want to encourage anyone who has a business, no matter what kind of business it is to pay attention to building community around your brand.
Yes.
So if Lisa is over here and she loves your product, and Jasmine is over here and she loves your product, if you can get the two of them to meet each other, there's a whole nother reason for them to come to you. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just because of your products, but because of the type of person you attract. You are actually enhancing their life, not just because of the product. And that's powerful, but you're also enhancing their life because of a relationship and experience that they cannot have apart from another human being, and all roads lead back to you.
That's
So
right.
building community around your brand and connecting people, like-minded people together is is one of the most powerful experiences of life, and also one of the best ways to build a system of repeat sales around your brand.
Yes, that's absolute truth. I believe it. And then again, they become advocates for you.
They
They
do.
go out and find other people who are like them, and then they become, they become friends. And then did you see this? Did you see this? And they start forwarding. And that is so amazing that you can build a community within the community that you already, the first community you joined. Because
Yes.
again, that does help you in business.
It's
So
brilliant. It's a
yes.
brilliant, it's a brilliant and integral part to any business.
Yes, I agree. So you guys, as you were listening out there, make sure that we tell you to connect with your customers. We always tell you to find your target market, talk to your people, because your people will be talking your language. And it's important that they speak to each other, because it grows your business, because everybody's excited to just talk about what you have, right? Usually
Yes.
somebody's posting something like, oh, you know what? I didn't post my package today. Let me post my package. And that's so wonderful. So
It
now
is.
within the IBN community, we have, I you had podcasts, you had a blog in there, you had you could listen to it audible, because that's how I used to listen all the time, and then I would read later so I can go back. But you showed us people who were successful. How did you find these people when we didn't have the connection?
How did I find them? I think reading magazine articles. Like I would get a magazine article and I would see their website or their phone number or their email address, and I would just email them. And I can tell you, like, that's another, it's not a secret. There are no secrets, but that's one of the things that a lot of us don't do. Like we
Yes.
think, oh, they don't want to be bothered or they
Mm-hmm.
won't take a phone call from me. I can tell you when that changed in my life was this. Do you all, you probably, I'm sure you know who Jack Canfield is. He's the
Yes.
author of the Success Principles. Okay, so when
Mm-hmm.
I started my podcast, which I started before there was even the word podcast, like
Yes, you
the word
did.
did
Yes,
not
yes,
exist, right?
yes.
So I had this little show on globaltalkradio.com, which doesn't even exist anymore. Costs $450 a month to have this show. But anyway, and now you can do it for free. But so I
Right.
had this
Because
little
I was on
show.
Blog Talk Network. That's what you was going to say, right?
Well,
Blog
but that
Talk.
was second. Like Blog Talk
Yes.
Radio did not exist when I started my podcast. It was Global Talk Radio, and Blog Talk Radio come along, which is one of the reasons why there is no more Global Talk Radio, because Blog Talk
Uh-huh.
Radio was doing it for free. Kevin at Global Talk Radio was charging $450 a month. So
Right.
that just worked back then, but it wouldn't work now. So anyway,
Yes.
um, I I really just would find these people. So I said, let me call Jack Canfield and see what happens. I called Jack Canfield, and his secretary called me back, or his assistant, and he was on my show. He was like my second podcast guest. So,
Wow.
and like Jack Canfield back then, 25 years ago, his hourly rate for coaching was like $5,000 an hour. I mean, he probably doesn't even do it anymore. I got him all to myself for an hour because I had a podcast. And here's another little secret: podcasting. If you have a podcast, most people won't say no to a podcast. Some people will, especially now. Back then,
Yeah,
nobody said no, but
that's
some
right.
people will. But if you're consistent and you go back and you ask maybe 2 or 3 times somebody you really want, they will probably be on your podcast. And they may not give you a whole hour, they may not give you a whole 30 minutes, they might just give you 5 or 10 minutes. But 9 times out of 10, if you show that you have a focus and that your show can reach their target audience, you will be able to get that person on your podcast with you for however long and have them all to yourself. I have learned so much from people that I've had on my podcast. I remember I reached out to she became kind of controversial over the years, but back then she was like the queen of the Food Network. This was a
Mhm.
long time ago. Paula Dean,
Mhm.
she answered my phone call and was on my podcast.
Wow.
I talked to her for an hour, and
Mm.
it just other people as well. Lisa Price, like there's lots of people that I just called up or emailed, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, I'll talk about how awesome I am for an hour."
Right, right.
So, and that's how I pitched it. Like, I want to tell more people about you, and you probably don't even know about my target audience and who I can introduce to you that you probably can't get to. And that's one of the ways. But anyway, what a podcast allows you to do, and the technology is easy today. What a
Very
podcast
easy.
allows you to do is um, talk to people you might not otherwise meet, get answers to questions you might not otherwise get. And it also puts your brand in everybody's pocket. Look at my phone. What a mess, all
You
messed up.
dropped it.
I dropped it a million times. It puts your brand in their purse, in their back pocket,
Mhm.
everywhere they go, all over the internet. And I will tell you another thing about podcasting. Is this interesting? Do people want to know about this, Nikki? I don't know.
Well,
Like,
everybody is saying confirmation is that you're speaking to me because I started in March saying that I wanted to have a podcast and I wanted to be the
okay.
#1 podcaster for makers and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
everybody's saying this is confirmation for me.
Well, it might be.
It is. It
It
is. I'm
might
sure.
be. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's easy thing to do, but see, here's what will happen when you have a podcast, because the content gremlins on the internet are always grabbing for content.
Yes.
When
Yes.
they see a feed, they grab it up and stick it on their website. So I have Googled my podcast, and it's in places I have never heard of, and I didn't put it there. Now, a
Right.
lot of times that's not a good thing because you don't want your stuff to be copied. But when you
Mhm.
have a radio show, sure, take it, put it everywhere.
That's
So,
right.
so that's another way to populate the internet with your brand, where you do something, and this is what entrepreneurs do. We do something one time and we get multiple uses out of it. We have to
Mhm.
be multipliers. That's what entrepreneurs are. You do something once, you get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 uses out of it. That's one of the hallmarks of an entrepreneur. Is that you
Yes,
don't you
indeed.
don't do things a million times. You do it once, but you funnel it out into a million different places.
That's right. That's right. That is so good. And I said I started. Um, I go on every day. So the point of me going on every morning was for me to get into the habit of doing the podcast, get familiar, get it comfortable, and just being able to speak to myself basically, and
Mm-hmm.
feeding off everybody else. So I was like, that's my point. That's my purpose. I done purchased everything I needed, and so I started cleaning my content room. And I said, by the end of this week, podcast time is happening. So
I'm
you
excited for
actually,
you.
thank you. You
Yes.
really, you hit home for me. I was like, oh, podcast. Uh-oh. I, I
See, and your
can't hide my
community's holding
face.
you accountable too. Your community's like, Nikki.
You've been talking about it.
Well,
Definitely.
everything in due time. Everything in due time. I know that you'll do it when the time is right, and it'll be wonderful. It'll be great, and the world is waiting for it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then I got to have you on when I actually have it on and launched and ready to go. I got to have you back.
I would love to. I
I
would
gotta
love
have
to.
you back. Yes. Okay. So we have community, we have the membership, and so they get the mentorship. They get to go on the cruise. Oh, let's talk about. Wait, do I want to go to the cruise first? Yes, we can go right into the cruise. Let's go into the cruise
Okay.
because I see when you get amped up for the cruise, and it just looks like
Yeah.
so much fun. So one of my goals is to actually go on one. And when I started, I'm not a member now, but I was. I think I did it 3 times because I was like, you have to do the insurance, the membership, and I was like, I want to do both. So I was like, when my business started picking up, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a part of the indie business network. That's what I am going to do. I'm telling you, you were on my goals list. Like you were on my goals list for years. And I was like, I
Thank
have to
you.
because I was consuming so much. And I was like, if
Mhm.
she's giving all of this free information and I'm not a
Mhm.
member yet, imagine what
Mhm.
I could get as a member. So I was like, I have to do it. I have to. And so I finally was able to do it. But you were doing the cruises since then.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing
Yeah.
them?
2011.
Wow.
We started in 2011, and it was just, let me tell you what the cruise, you really, okay, here's what Indie Cruise was. Indie Cruise was, I needed a vacation. Indie Cruise was, honey, I'm leaving. I'm going, you keep these kids. I'm going, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm getting on a boat and I'm going somewhere. And I'm going to bring some of my members with me. Like, who wants to go? So I just announced it. Like, back then, I think probably in a Facebook. No, we didn't have a Facebook group back then. I don't know what I did. Probably an email, because that's what I was doing. So I announced it.
A blog.
Well, blog. Yeah. Announced it on the blog. Yes. And so people signed up to go. So we went on the first Indie Cruise, which interestingly enough was on Carnival Cruise Lines. And our meeting room was in the back of the cigar bar on the bottom floor of the boat, because I didn't know what I was doing. Right. So I didn't know like how to reserve like the fancier rooms. So they put us in the cigar bar, which was really interesting. It's funny now, but back then it smelled like a combination of cigars and Glade air freshener, because that's how they would spruce things up. But in any event, on the last day when we came back to shore, one of my members, as we were all saying goodbye, she said, well, where are we going next year? And it had not occurred to me to do it again. Right. So of course I said, well, where do you want to go? So they told me where they wanted to go. And in 2012, we went there. I mean, that's literally, like I said, everything is an experiment, like not a total experiment. Like we obviously plan things, but you never know what is going to hit and what's really going to resonate with your people. You try your best to figure that out on the front end. But then when they said that, we just kept doing it, and we've done it every year. We missed 1 year during the pandemic, but ever since then. So we're going on our 13th annual Indie Cruise to Cabo San Lucas in January.
And I seen that the early bird cutoff is tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. It is tomorrow. Yes. But see, now this is something that everybody within the sound of my voice can do. And it doesn't have to be a cruise. It can be like, we don't even do it on a boat anymore, but it's still called Indie Cruise because the brand was just out there. We don't even get on a boat. And what's so funny is the reason we got off the boat is because we had been to all the Caribbean islands, and the only ones left were ones that were like a 5-day sail away. And my members were not going to go anywhere and sail for 5 days. So I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to fly. So, and I think it was 2016, 2015, I announced, I can't remember what year it was. Okay, it's still Indie Cruise, but we're not going on a cruise. And I cannot tell you how many people called me and said, well, finally, I hate cruising. I'm going to go this year. Like no one had ever told me that before. Right. And they were like, I've been waiting for you to not be on a boat. And I'm like, I didn't ask. There's another lesson. Ask your people. Just ask them. You never know what's in their head. You may think you know what's in their head, but you don't. People came out of the woodwork to go that year because they hate boats. Yes. Who knew? Right. Mm-hmm. So in any event, we're flying. We haven't been back on a boat, although we probably will. Macy's Natural Cosmetics says, I would always miss it. Oh, well, there's always, but you know what? There's lots of cruises and vacations you can go on. But you can even have one in your own brand. And this is where I was kind of going with this, is that building community around your brand can be done virtually and in real life. Mm-hmm. And the brands that are doing it both ways have the most staying power over the long haul. Because when you can engage your audience virtually, it's important. But when you can get people in the room where their energy bounces off of each other, and it's an intangible thing. It's like you can go to church online or you can actually go to church. And for those of you who go to church, there's a difference. You may not be able to explain the difference, but there's a difference, right? So that's right. Same thing happens in any sort of meeting that you go to. And so if you can create something that complements your brand, we have a member, for example, she has a hair care line, and she recently launched a hair care summit. I think this is her 4th year, I believe, that she's been doing it. So in addition to the products that she offers, she also now has people who are experts in self-care, whether it's hair or skin or clothing and accessories, exercise, fitness, yoga, journaling, whatever it is. And they come together for her hair care summit All roads lead back to her, but she's connecting her audience members together and empowering them in ways that her products cannot do. So she's hitting
Mm,
the physical perspective and also from an emotional and spiritual perspective, which really just ties all the bows of your personality together. So
that's
doing
right.
something that brings people together around a topic or a focus that complements your brand is another way to build community around your brand and to build some buzz. And when you
That's
have an
right.
event like that, especially if it's in person, you have marketing for days, for years. We
Mm-hmm.
still post pictures from Indie Cruise from 10 years ago. And people come because, wow, that looked like fun. I think I want to go. And
Mm-hmm.
people share what they've learned and the relationships that have developed during this event are better than the event. Like some of
Yes.
my members are like now going to each other's weddings and buying presents for each other's babies and going to dinner with their husbands and all this stuff. And they'll send me pictures. And I'm like, wow, that's nice. Y'all didn't invite me. No, I'm just,
Right.
but
Y'all met
can
each other through
see.
me.
Right, but the fun of that is that how amazing is it for you as the brand owner for your business to look and see that because of your brand, because of your idea, because of what you have put out into the world, you have helped somebody live a better life.
That's right.
Like there's nothing better than that.
That's right. And creating amazing, long lasting friendships that,
Mhm.
people they would have never met. Like you said, they would have never met them, probably would have never even spoken to them had they passed them on the street. And that is awesome because, and then you have each other so that you understand each other. You know what I mean? And again, that's another reason why I created this was because it's hard when you think you're out here by yourself. It's hard to vent. It's hard to become friends with somebody to understand, like, okay, I don't feel like doing this, but I need to because I have to do this. And everybody just don't worry about it. And you're like, what do you mean don't worry about it? My customers are waiting. I
Right,
can't not
right,
worry. So
right.
it's a different kind of feeling when you can fellowship with like-minded people and the vibration,
Mhm.
the energy, everything is high and cross promoting is amazing. So good. It's so good. And I see that you do that all the time with your members, that you post them on social media and you let everybody
Mhm.
else know who they are
Yeah.
and what they do.
Yeah, and they find each other through those posts. They like find somebody in their community. But kudos to you, Nikki, for creating the Bubble Babes community where there's so much learning and so much. I mean, when you started and you started rattling off the names of all the people who were coming, like I wrote some of them down: Trina and Angela and Jasmine and Miss Faye and Miss Quay. I mean, you've done that. Like you've done that.
Thank
And
you.
so you're such a good example of what we're talking about here. And whether
Thank
you
you.
sell products or services, these principles can help you build a business and build the community around your brand, because what happens when you do that is you're creating sales opportunities. Okay? You're creating sales opportunities. And if you can create sales opportunities, you have an opportunity to ask for the sale,
That's right.
right? And
That's
then
right.
once you do that one time, you can put that needle on the record and you can repeat it. And then you get repeat sales. And that's what makes your business last: the repeat sales, not the one off sales, somebody who comes for Christmas, but the repeat sales. When that person comes back, when you influence that person to come back on a regular basis and maybe even infuse a subscription
That's
into
right.
your business or some sort of membership into your business, because you can do that with a product business as well. I don't know why more product makers don't have memberships. It is
Right.
it is the best business model on the planet. And
Yes.
and and product makers haven't it's not easy. None of this is easy, but you have a natural way to build a membership around your business because you
And I
have an
think
awesome product.
that's right. And that word was for you, Miss Quell. That word is for you because she wanted to do subscription boxes. There she
Mhm.
goes. You see her right there in the chat. She said, did she say subscription? She's speaking. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And Angela says, should I join IBN now or should she wait till she start her business? I think you should join now. Let me tell you, I'm about I'm about to join again because it was very beneficial to me. We had Tiana was on, and I know she's a member, and I think
Tiana
Yvonne.
Coates.
Yes,
Oh, be still my heart. I love her. I love
yes,
her. I'm gonna walk to Texas to meet her one day. She's
yes,
amazing. Did they
she
did they
is.
get to meet her? Did
Yes, they
they?
did.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She was one of
She's a good
my
one.
earlier guests. She was one of my earlier guests, and I love her. I loved her energy from the very beginning. She was making bath bombs in the beginning, and I seen her back then, and she was trying to find her way and everything, and then she hit it with the candles, and I was like, oh, I need to have you on the show. I need to have you on the show. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I was like,
She's
I've seen
amazing.
yes. I'm like, I love your energy. A lot of people, the
Yeah.
energy is not the same, and her
Mhm.
energy just was always, to me, was good energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Follow her everywhere. Everyone follow her everywhere. I love her.
Yes.
She's like I just get so inspired. So I interrupted you. I didn't mean to, but when you said Tiana, I was like, that Tiana. Like
Yes,
she's like
yes, it
such
was
a
her.
star.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. No, someone wants to know, should they start should they join now, or should they wait till they start their business?
Well, I think now this is going to sound so self-serving. Of course, you should join now, but here's why I think
Yeah,
it
of
would benefit
course.
you to join now because you will learn a lot about business before you start your business, and it's wise to do that. So, if you join before you start, you will probably avoid making a lot of money expenditures, for example, that you might not otherwise avoid. You will probably be able to streamline your launch process significantly. Now,
So much
just
easier.
joining is not going to get you to do that. Joining and coming to the weekly coaching will help you do that. Just joining will not. So if you our weekly coaching is Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern or 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, one or the other, because we alternate it because some people can't come during the day and you get that. So, and we do record it. But in order to really benefit, you kind of you got to show up because what I deliver in those hourly trainings every week is not, I answer your questions. So it's a Q&A, but it's also a lesson every week on either pricing, selling, or leading. And those are like the three content nuggets that we build everything around. If you're not priced right, you're not going to make money. If you
That's
don't know
right.
how to sell, you're not going to make money. If you don't know how to lead, you're not going to make money. So
Hmm.
those like general areas is what we focus on. So I would
Yes.
join. Yeah. I would join and then I would come and then I would come. Join and come. Don't just join.
And
So
execute. Don't just
yes.
join and absorb
Yes.
all the things that she's saying.
Yes.
Don't absorb all the things. Make sure you
Right.
execute when you
Right.
hear it. While the passion is
Yeah.
there, execute quickly.
Well, we actually, Nikki, we have a goal setting program inside the Indie Business Network that actually helps you set goals and
Yes.
move through each quarter to achieve them. And I think
Mm,
that's one of the most important things that we are able to offer because we all have great ideas. All of us are creative. Like you have a list of things you want to do, you could do them all. But the challenge with doing them all is that you're diffusing your energy. So we really
yes.
need to be very intentional about what are the goals. Like, don't make the candles in all 500 fragrances, right? Like, narrow it down to something that allows you to have a focus. And have you heard of the bat signal? Can I share the bat signal with your audience?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
please.
I did not make this up. I can't remember who did. He has it was a man who owned a company. That's what I remember. So so the bat signal, you need a bat signal. And the bat signal is, let me tell you what it is. Okay. So we all know who Batman is, right? So whenever there was a problem, the city commissioner or the police officer or whoever he was, he would shine the bat signal into the sky, right? And
Hmm.
so you would have the bat signal in the sky. And who would see the bat signal? Everyone would see the bat signal, but only one person responded to the bat signal, and that was
Hmm.
Batman. So that's what you want with your brand. You want everyone to see it, but you only want the people who have their credit cards hanging out of their wallets to respond to it, right? So you want the people who go, ooh, like Tiana, for example. ooh, candles with swirls and frilly things with a little monkey on top. I want that. Like,
I
you
gotta
want
have that
everyone
one.
to see it, but you only want the people who will buy it to come running. So you need to be really clear about who it is that you're talking to about your products and the experience that you want people to have. And for
Mm,
example, we get a lot of people that come, they have businesses and they're not artisans. They don't make the products they sell. And they want to come and they want to join. And I'm like, well, you can join, but we're not talking to you. Like
yeah.
we really aren't, we could share little business ideas with you and stuff, but your people aren't here. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I mean. They saw the bat signal, but we're
Right.
not talking to them. Now, if
Right.
you want to pay, I'm happy to do that. But you know what? They're not going to stay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to focus on them because what do I want? I want the repeat. I want you
That's
to
right.
come back, right? So I'm going to put my energy in the person who will probably come back, not so much in the person who's just going to buy one time and probably not show up. And
Yeah.
like that's so. So to answer your question about that, I would definitely join. But I just want you to remember the bat signal. That concept changed my life when I heard it.
And I think because as makers, everybody think that they have to sell to everybody. Elizabeth is asking the question in the chat, and
Uh
she's
huh.
saying, "How do you research who your target audience is?"
Elizabeth, that's a great question. A couple of different things that you can do. You can Google, right? Google. So if you think I don't know what it is that you make, but let's just assume it like it's candles. Okay. So if you think you have a particular concept or idea for candles, let's just say, I don't know, Zodiac, right? Zodiac candles, like that's a thing. If that's something that you think you want to do, well, you can Google that. Zodiac candles. Who buys Zodiac candles? What is so great about Zodiac candles?
Mm-hmm.
And you will come up with a whole lot of responses on Google from blog posts to questions, like people asking questions about Zodiac candles, or maybe you put gemstones in your candles. And when you read through those, you get an idea of what Google is saying about them, and do it on YouTube. Do it on YouTube because you will also get that information. So you start with what you think you want to do, like have some idea about what you want to do, narrow it down from the universe, right, to what it is that you want to do, and start Googling. And then the second thing I would do is I would start an email newsletter or a text, whatever you want to do. Like I would probably start with an email newsletter that actually started to build your community around the people that you know who are your supporters, and ask them questions. Like if it's candles, for example, everybody either buys candles for themselves or buys them for someone else. So you
Mm-hmm.
can ask questions about that. So do that kind of research, YouTube and Google. And then as you start to see people be attracted on your Instagram, for example, or maybe you do TikTok, get their email address so you can connect with them. You can get in their head, and then you can say, dear everyone, we are so happy that you're following us on TikTok. Why are you following us on TikTok? Well, because
Mm-hmm.
all of your candles are yellow, or all of your candles are zodiac. Like I'm really into it. Like what is so you will start to hear them tell you why they're attracted to you, and then you can start speaking that language back to them, and that's going to help you narrow down your focus to something specific that you can start with. But don't do that for years. Like do that for like consistently, maybe for right, because a lot of people feel like they never have enough information,
Yeah,
right?
because they think that you like to use the excuse that they're perfectionists. I'm like, will you just start
Yeah,
already and cut it out?
yeah. You got to just get started. I know when I started the Indie Business Network, and even before that, my cosmetics company. Okay, big mistake, right? So I opened a store. It was called the Maria Grace Aromatherapy Shop. The logo was a lady in a bathtub blowing bubbles like that. And she was blowing bubbles in the tub. So I bought ads in the paper. And you know what truckers thought when they saw that? That it was a massage parlor.
Mm-hmm. Happy
So
endings.
yeah, I got that. My boyfriend at the time was like, oh no, we're not having this. We are closing this down, right?
That
But I would
right.
get phone calls. So what I'm saying is when you put yourself out there, you will find out who you're attracting. Like they will tell you. Like I had to change that branding because I didn't want to attract That's not what I was trying to do.
That's right. That's right.
So I hope that answers your question to some extent anyway. Google, YouTube, and asking them. Ask if someone bought your product today, ask her why. Like
Mm-hmm.
email her now. Dear so and so, I hope you enjoyed that such and such a product that you bought. Can you tell me what you liked most about it? Would you buy it again? Why or why not? Collect that information, and that's going to help you slowly but surely target your energy where it needs to go so that you
That's
can
right.
follow the needs and wants of your target customer.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see the trend, right? You'll see the trend of the type of people that you're
Yeah.
attracting, and you'll know those are the people who like my thing. So I'm gonna keep on
Right. You'll
doing
be
this because they
creating the
like it.
data. Yes, you'll be creating the data that you need to actually see the patterns. And once you see the patterns, then you know how to act on those
Yeah,
patterns.
that is good. This is so good. I'm
Is
so
it
thank.
good? I
It's
hope it
so
was
good.
helpful.
It's so good. Yes, yes. So Holly wants to know, where can she find the meeting? So you said 12 o'clock Monday, 12:30 and 8:30.
Yes. Is Holly a member? Hi, Holly. Okay. If you're okay, so every Monday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern, we send an email notification to our members with all of the upcoming events. So if you get that on Monday mornings, just open it up and you'll see it's called Coffee with Donna Maria. And it's what we call it, even if it's 8 o'clock at night, we
Listen,
still call it coffee. What? I saw
I'm
you have
coffee with
coffee with Nikki.
Nikki.
I saw
Yes.
that. I saw coffee. I want to have some coffee with you, Nikki. But
Yes.
anyway, yeah, it's called Coffee with Donna Maria. So if you're a member, it might be in your spam folder, so you might need to adjust your spam settings. But if you're in our Facebook group, we have an event calendar in the Facebook group that also has the description of the event, the date, the time, and the Zoom link. So if you're a member, those are the two places where you will get the access that you need is in your inbox every Monday morning. And then if you're in the group, just click on events and you'll see everything listed there.
So Holly, if you have it, make sure you check your email list. Also, before we go into any more questions, I want you to talk about the insurance before we
Okay.
go, because everybody has a lot of questions, and you're like, I'm just sitting here like soaking you all in. I'm like, I want to hear everything, right? But the
Okay.
insurance is something
Hmm.
that is very important for all of us makers. A lot of people in here are candle makers, and they do not have insurance,
Okay.
and they don't understand the urgency of having the right insurance. And
Okay.
as you know, searching around, and because let me tell you something, I was like, I need to see, because Miss Donna Maria, she has her insurance at this price. Let me see if I could get it cheaper. Of course I could get it
Uh-huh.
cheaper. There's
Uh-huh.
nobody cheaper.
There
How did
isn't?
you even
Okay.
do that? No.
Okay. Well, the way we did it was the way we did it is because we looked for probably because we looked for a company that would serve makers. Like we didn't just want insurance.
Right.
We wanted an insurance broker that understood that you could make candles in your house. Like most insurance companies don't even know that. They're like, you can make lipstick in your house? Like, how do
Right.
you even do that? They don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
we looked for a company that understood that. And so when we found them, and we actually narrowed it down to more than one, we actually had one and it was bad. Like it went
Yeah.
like within 5 months, it was gone. These people came along and we've been with them, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years now. So, but we really wanted somebody that understood the market and that wanted to underwrite the market, that wasn't doing it because they felt like they had to, or here's these people, we can make some money. This company really wants to support entrepreneurship on a small and local scale and also on a larger scale as well. But they understood that the smaller businesses were not being served.
Yeah.
And so when we approached them, we were their missing link because they didn't know how to reach them,
Right.
right? They didn't know where they were. And they were our missing link because I personally and the Indie Business Network, we are not an insurance company. We're an entrepreneurial training company. So we
Mm-hmm.
partnered with experts and A-rated carrier in the industry. And that's basically how we found them. And we developed the relationship over years and the collaboration has been very successful. We've had members that have called on that insurance for everything from stolen property to we had a member recently who, well, she was packing up for a show, I think, and she forgot that she left some of her products on top of her truck, and she just drove off, and everything was like trailing along behind her
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
People have gotten things stolen at trade shows that have been recovered, floods, all kinds of stuff. And so, thankfully, we have not had any claims for injury of any kind from people like with, damages to, from burns or,
Mm-hmm.
your hair care product or my hair blue or whatever. We haven't had anything like that, but that doesn't mean that we won't. And
Right.
that's what the insurance is for. Insurance is to protect your financial assets if your product causes damage to someone else. Like, I don't know, candles. Oh, we did have one where I don't know, I don't know all the things about candles, but I do know that if you pour it into a vessel that gets too hot, it can burn the surface of a piece of furniture. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody put it on their great great grandmother's antique something, and it ruined it. And so
Wow.
there was a claim for that, and so the insurance paid that out. That's the kind of thing that is useful. Also, physical damage as well. It would cover as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it
and
gives
like
you peace of mind.
it, yes, because the insurance that you had, and like I said, I could not find it anywhere else, but the insurance that you had
Hmm.
was, you really knew that they thought about you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
now they
Yeah.
have all these other insurance companies that are trying to do the same thing, and they see
Mm.
that it's a market, and so they're
Hmm.
doing things, but they're not
Hmm.
covering everything. So they may
Mm.
cover maybe an injury to somebody else, but they won't cover should some natural occurrence or something happen in the home or
Yeah.
at an event or something like that, and it won't
Yeah.
cover that. Or
Yeah.
it'll, you guys were the only people that I knew that were covering bath products, candles,
Yeah.
CBD, and I was
Yeah.
like, you can't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
And you had to get
Yeah, we
different.
do. We have different coverage. For CBD is much more expensive than the regular
Yeah,
coverage
yes.
because CBD it's a lot more expensive, but we do have a program that will cover it. It's quoted though, but if you make soap, cosmetics, candles, wax melts, or jewelry, artisan food products, pet products, if you make pottery, arts and craftsy type things like pottery, we have a blown glass,
Mm-hmm.
when they blow the
The
glass.
vases and stuff, yes.
Yeah. So if you make any of those things, then you can buy the insurance on demand at the website, and you have an insurance certificate that's issued to you immediately. And we also have inside that program, you can get additional insureds added onto your insurance certificate, which is really important at no additional charge. So, for example, oftentimes a trade show or a market or a retail store will ask you to add their name onto your insurance
Yeah.
certificate. And a lot of companies either won't do that or they'll charge a lot of money. So you'll have to pay for this retail store and this retail store. You have to buy them one at a time. You can add as many as you need on your policy as many times as you want at no additional charge. And this really saves a lot of money because retailers and shows are starting to, they want their names on those insurance certificates, because
That's
if you
right.
sell your product in their store or their market to their customer and there's a problem, they're going to come after you. But if their name, the customer's going to come after them, but they
Mm-hmm.
may not have all the coverage that you have. And so you can invoke your coverage to protect your customer, which is
Right.
your show or your retail store. So that's a nice benefit as well. We also have a cyber coverage. So if your website is hacked, or somebody taps into your website and grabs all your customers email addresses, or God forbid their credit card numbers,
Right.
you have some, or they hold your website hostage, which is happening a lot now to
Yes.
businesses. There's a add-on that covers that as well. So there's a couple other things, but those are the main things that hopefully that answers some people's questions.
Yes, and it's major because, like I said, there companies are trying to get in on it, but they don't exactly know what to cover and how to do
Hmm.
it. There was a maker, and I'm not going to say any names, but you probably already know, of a
Hmm.
supplier, and
Hmm.
their their shop blew up, and
Oh
so
wow.
the insurance that they had said that they don't cover that. They've been paying into this insurance for years.
Mm,
And when they tried to, make the claim, they said, well, we're not going to cover that. And so they
wow.
had to have a GoFundMe because
Oh,
everything
wow.
went up in flames. Yes.
Oh,
Insurance would
I
not
didn't know
cover them
about
at
that.
all. Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope nobody was injured.
No, no one was
Um,
injured. It just
okay.
everything was burnt to everything. Everything was burnt.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Well, insurance can be a tricky thing. Like I think
Yeah,
we all have auto insurance. Like insurance companies are insurance companies. Okay,
that's
they
right.
just are. Okay, so you buyer beware. I'm on everything you buy. But
Right.
when you buy insurance, ask questions. Like you can ask questions, and we answer our members' questions and all the time. Like I field questions. I don't know everything about insurance. I answer if I can, but I always know who to ask. So we
That's
get
right.
our answer questions for our members really quickly. And then the thing that's great about insurance, and of course it is great, but as I was telling somebody on the phone today, like you can have a lot of insurance, but what you can't get from any other organization that I know about is the combination of that as well as the entrepreneurial training, because
Mm,
you could have great insurance, but if you don't know how to sell and if you don't learn how to lead your company, you'll just have a lot of great insurance and a lot of products on the shelf. They'll all be insured, but you won't be selling them.
You won't be
So
selling them.
we try to combine those two things together so that you can get your insurance and then move back to the business of building your business.
That's right. That's right. Now, how much is the membership? That's what Yaz would like to know. She would like to know how much oh, somebody put it in there.
Oh, yes, it's
It's
$247 per year,
for the
which
year.
I don't
Yes.
even remember. I think it's like $12 a month or something like that that it works out to. And then the insurance, it varies in price, but it starts around 275 per year for $1 million in coverage. Like if you want more, you can get $2 million in coverage off the website, and that's $330 per year. If you need more than that, most people don't, but if you need more than that, we can quote you over $2 million in coverage if you need that. And that process takes a little longer because the underwriter has to look at that if you need more than $2 million in coverage. But if
Yeah.
that's what you need, you can just buy that straight off the website once you're a member.
Yes. 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 And again, the membership covers the entire year. So
Yes, the
think about
membership.
that. It's
Yes.
not just a month, it's the year.
The membership covers the entire year, and it includes promotional benefits and collaborative opportunities. But really, like our membership is built around training and mentoring, community, and planning and goal setting. So if you want to scale your business, and scale is different to everyone. Like some people want to be in every Walmart in the world.
Yeah.
To some people, scale is a really great online business that they can work from home. Like whatever your scale is, what our training is designed to do is to equip you to do that, and also to help you execute, because a lot of
Mm,
times that's where the challenge comes in. It's like I have so many things to do, but we help you narrow it down to the things that really move that ball forward so you can
mm,
focus your energy on the things that only you can do, delegate the rest, and then articulate and achieve your goals every single quarter as you move through your business.
and since we're on quarters,
We're on quarters.
the planner that you're doing is the Q4 calendar. I mean, the Q4 planner, right?
Yes, yes, we have. Yeah, can we answer this person's question? Holly says, "Why is CBD extra? Is there an
Hmm.
exception for CBD?" CBD is more expensive than non-CBD, and here's the reason why. I told you about insurance companies, right? They have at least the ones that we've dealt with, and anyone that we've talked to, because we did try to source coverage from a lot of different companies.
Yeah.
The ability to sell products that contain CBD is not it has not been legally allowed for very long. It's been
Right.
done for a while, but it hasn't been legally allowed for very long. And because of that, insurance companies tend to be a little squeamish. Like they're a little squeamish until something gets normalized.
Yeah.
However long it takes for them to get it normalized in their minds, uh, which could be anybody's definition. The price has come down, but you know what? During the pandemic, it went back up.
Mm,
So I can't explain all the details, but I because I don't know them, but I do know that the biggest thing is the fact that putting CBD in products in the world of insurance is brand spanking new, and they haven't had enough of a track record to know what their exposure is. And when that happens to them, they just raise the price so they can over cover their exposure. Does that
And
make
they
sense? I hope
probably
that makes sense.
discourage people from doing like, oh, you really don't want to put CBD in there. So if we
Well, you
charge you
know that
more,
here we've had some members that now the CBD that some of our members do have, it might be around $2,000 a year. It's individually quoted, so it depends on what your sales volume is. But
hmm,
from what I've seen, the average is around $2,000 a year. And because you can charge more for a CBD product, you can do the math in your own business. But you can charge more, and you have another hook to attract customers because everybody wants CBD. So if you
right,
think about it, a $2,000, it might not be a lot for your business,
right,
actually, if you think about it. So you could make that back in a fairly short period of time if you're focused and you have, you are engaged with your target customers and you know what they want and they come back every month to buy that product from you. So it seems like a lot, but if you pull out your calculator and do your numbers, it might not actually be
that bad.
so
Yeah,
much of an expense that you wouldn't be able to do it and build your business with it.
yeah. So while we're here, we'll come back to the Q4. So
Oh. Are we okay?
Lagai,
So we're going to do a raffle, right? Are we going to do a raffle?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is our brand new Indie Business Network Maker Planner. This is a quarterly planner that we developed specifically for makers and even more specifically for our members.
And it's
We're going to
thick.
raffle. It is. Well, it's the whole quarter. And it also has business metric planning, goal setting planning in here. There is our smartest goals framework in here as well to help you set your goals and achieve your goals every quarter. But we're going to raffle one off, right? So we've got this black, and we also have our classic white, one or the other. So I'm not sure how we're going to raffle, right, Nikki? But we're going to raffle, and you get to choose your color. Nikki will send me your address, and if you send the address tonight, we'll get it in the mail to you tomorrow.
Hey, look at
So you can
that.
try
And
it
they were
out.
just released. Just
Yeah,
released, you
just today.
guys.
We just made our first shipment. This is Q4. So you'll have September to set it up, and you'll use it October, November, and December.
Okay, so Lagaya wants to know, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in the wheel of names, and I'll say who wants to do the raffle. Everybody who wants to do the raffle, put raffle in the chat. I'll add your name to the wheel of names, and then we'll pick you, whoever wins.
Okay. Okay.
So that way, neither one of our hands is on it. Lagaya wants to know, can we make payments? Is there something like Afterpay?
Oh, for the membership and the insurance, we do not have a payment plan for that. And the reason is because we would have to raise the prices pretty significantly to cover the cost of a payment plan. So we've never had one. So I'm sorry, Guy, we don't have one. Do you have to be a member to get insurance? Someone's asking. Do you see that?
Yes.
Should I answer
Yep.
that? You
Yes.
do.
Yes,
Yes.
I put it on there.
Yes. Yes. We only offer the coverage to our members.
Yaz wants to know, does it cover if a customer takes you to court?
Yes. Yes. The insurance company will step in and defend a claim that's brought against you. That claim the injury can occur anywhere, but the claim has to be in the US. So if your customer is in Spain and they sue you in Spain, the insurance will not kick in for a claim in Spain. But if the injury happens anywhere and the claim is brought in the US, which is probably where it would be because this is where your company is domiciled, it would probably be bought here, then it will cover you, but not if it's brought. In other words, they won't travel to Spain to defend for $275 a year.
Right,
but they
right,
will
right.
if it's in the US.
Khalida wants to know, it's for the whole year. She said,
Yes.
is the membership payable either monthly or quarterly like car insurance?
It's an annual membership. So once you join, you have access to the membership, and if you get the insurance, which is optional, you have access to them for a year. They both last a year, the full 12 months.
Miss Quell says the planner is nice. Jasmine Alyssa says she likes the black one.
Okay.
Everybody says they love
That's the
it.
one we sold the most of, the black one.
The black
Like,
one?
more than double the black one.
Yeah,
We
because the
don't have
black
a
one
whole
is
lot
not
of
going to
black
get
ones left.
dirty.
Well, I don't know what it is, but the black ones, well, maybe I do know. I don't know, but the black one's really nice. And this is the first one that I used, but I love it. So yeah, I'm switching to a white one this time, but yeah, the black one is more than double outselling the white one.
And as a member, how much is the planner?
The planner is $39.99.
Oh, that's not even bad.
And it includes shipping.
Yes. What?
But the best part about the planner is not really the planner, because you can get a planner anywhere. We
Anywhere,
have a system in
right?
the planner. We have a system in the planner that we actually follow with our members. So we do the goal setting together inside the group. We have accountability meetings. Well, we haven't started them yet because we just shipped these out
the
today.
book. Yes.
But what we have, our next planning meeting, we have had quarterly planning meetings for several years, but we have not used the planner with them. Now we are using the planner with the quarterly planning meetings. However, you can use whatever planner you want at the quarterly planning meetings. You may not have the same thing, but we'll show you the pages and you can just draw it on your paper if you want, or use your own planner, or bring blank pieces of paper, and you can incorporate the system into whatever planner that you use. But for people who want to actually have the system in their planner, we put it in there for them.
No, I think the planner book is the best because everything you need is right there. You put stuff on paper. Let me tell you, I have papers everywhere. Everywhere I write stuff on paper. You're going to lose it.
I still do that. I still do that. I'm guilty. I have paper everywhere, but we don't want to discourage any of our members who don't want the planner because they already have a planner. We share the planning system. You can incorporate it into your existing planner. All planners have notes pages in them. You can use your notes pages for that. But this is a resource for people who want it all in one place.
Nice. So everybody is in here. First of all, I need one of those planners. I need one of those. I won the raffle. Yay me! No, I'm just joking.
Well, I'll send one to you, Nikki, and I'll send one to the raffle winner.
Okay, so I'm entering everybody's name in here in the raffle. Laura G. And we will announce one of the winners. Oh, wow. We have a lot of people in here, Miss Donna Maria. We have a lot of people in here.
Well, that's because of you, Nikki, because you're attracting all the peeps.
Oh, my goodness. We are packed in here. You have an
amazing community. Like, I'm looking on the YouTube here. Oh, look. Hi, everyone. Holly, the Queen Bee, Jasmine, Lois, Lakeisha, Donna, Skinny Dips. Oh, look. Yes. Hi, everyone. Anais. That's a pretty name. Ligaya, Elizabeth, Sandra, Nessa, Tanja, Shun. Thank you so much for coming. Wow. Look at you. Look at you, Nikki. You got the people, girl.
Well, you should be
proud of yourself.
I got it from you. I got it from you. I sure did. When I got it
from
email,
the Cosmetics, Toiletries, and Fragrances Association. So there you go.
Toiletries.
Right, toiletries. I know. They changed their name now. I can't even remember what they're called.
Quell wants to know, does it cover everything, candles and bath and body? She said, is that correct?
Correct. It covers it's called the handcrafted soap and cosmetics coverage, and it covers cosmetics, soaps, candles, wax melts, and jewelry.
And you have something for fitness too. Does it cover that as well?
We do have a program for fitness trainers. That's a different program. It's a service program, whereas the soap and cosmetics is a product program. The fitness coverage covers fitness trainers.
Nice. See that? Didn't I tell y'all she had everything? I already told y'all. I'm
We're going to
telling
be
you.
adding life coaches as well, and nutritional supplements. We have a program coming out for
Yeah.
that in the near future. I don't know all the dates, but yeah.
What about
So what
online
happens is,
courses?
I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
Online courses? Like
Yes, we do.
an
Well,
educator?
We have coverage. It's called professional liability insurance for people that teach. And that's an
Mm-hmm.
add-on to the regular policy. I think it's $165 a year, something like that. Don't quote me.
Do
It's
I
not
need to
more
do
than that.
that? Do I need to add
Um,
that?
well, I don't know. What do you teach?
Um, I don't actually teach. I just
Oh,
speak. I'm just a speaker.
okay. Well,
I mean,
then
I do
you
teach, but
might want
not
to get
like
like
a,
a business owner's policy. Yes, but the professional teaching is for people who like teach candle making or they teach soap making or something like that.
yeah,
That's the one
I
that,
don't
yeah.
do that. If I do it, we do it together collectively and we're teaching each other because I don't want
Right.
you to say I'm the
Right.
teacher.
Right. So that this is for people who hold themselves out as an instructor, a teacher, and they're charging admission for their classes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think I got everybody. Oh, bath bombs. Bath bombs are covered, of course.
Yes.
They are,
Yes,
Sandra.
if it's a cosmetic, it's covered. So any cosmetic, and a cosmetic as defined by the FDA is a product that you rub, spray, sprinkle, or spray onto the skin for the purposes of beautification. That's what a cosmetic is. So the program does not cover drugs. So if your product is marketed as like it will cure your eczema or take your depression away or whatever it is, those would be regulated by the FDA's drugs. And they may also be cosmetics because it can be both. And we do not cover, our program does not cover products that are marketed and sold as drugs, only that
Now,
are marketed and sold as cosmetics.
that was a question that I had about the hand sanitizer because when the pandemic happened, we were able
Yeah.
to make sanitizer. Is that still a thing we can do or is no
Hand
longer?
sanitizer is the one exception that's still covered by our insurance program because it's hand sanitizer, but that is it. Like, and that may change. Okay. So, like everybody watching, if you're watching this
Yes.
later, that may change because remember the FDA, that was just a temporary exception.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, government agencies move really slowly. So I actually think that is going to change, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
So if you're building your brand around that, make sure you keep that in mind and price out regular insurance for that product. So even if you have, the lower price coverage now that you know what's coming, so you can know how to plan your business.
Yes. For somebody asked, usually we have like a class together, we do a make with me, and someone said, can we do hand sanitizer? And I was like, I need to check and see if hand sanitizer is still something we can make because it was something that was for the pandemic, and now that you could get it everywhere, I didn't know if it went back to being restricted for us makers.
Yeah, I mean, you can still make it and you can still sell it and get it covered, but I don't, I'm not sure exactly how much longer that's going to last.
Yeah.
And I actually haven't looked it up in a while, so I probably should look it up even before I say that. Why don't I do that? Let me look that up. And I think I'm right, but just in case I'm not, because I can't look it up right now, let me, Nikki, like get back to you tomorrow, and
Yes,
I'll
yes.
clarify that for anybody who has that question.
Everybody has all the insurance questions now. Okay, so we're gonna get back to you with the hand sanitizer thing. And
Okay.
Yas makes massage candles. She says,
Yeah.
how would my coverage work? So she could get the
Yeah.
standard coverage, right?
Yes. Massage candles are candles and cosmetics at the same time. So they are covered by our soap and cosmetics policy, which covers soaps and candles and cosmetics. So if you have a massage candle that is a cosmetic and a candle in one, which are those wonderful things you can massage on your skin. I know
Yeah.
about those. Yes, that's covered by our program.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I hope you guys got all of your insurance questions out, the membership questions out. You pay one time for the year and it pays for itself. It really does. Like I said, I would binge watch all of the podcasts that were there, or read all the articles. Like it pays for itself. It actually is really good. I mean, the price point seems a little high when you look at it all at once, but when you see the value that you get from it, it does definitely work out to be it works out to be great for you because like she said, she is setting up. She's setting up the alley oop for you guys, right? She's assisting, and you guys dunk it, or get the ball in the hoop with, what is it? The basketball in the net. So, but she's setting
Yeah,
up
and
the
we
shot
do
for
work
you.
really closely with the brokers. So if you have questions that I can't answer because I'm not an insurance broker, we
Yeah,
tee those questions up all the time.
that's right. Okay, so now we're about to wrap this up, you guys, and we
Okay.
have all of the names in the wheel. The wheel is very colorful. All right, I'm
Ooh.
spinning, and let's see who the winner is. Oh, I should have did it on my phone so you guys can see. Okay, so the winner is Rolanda. Rolanda is the winner.
All right. Congratulations, Rolanda. How do you spell that?
Rolanda.
Awesome. Do you remember Rolanda, the lady with the TV show?
Watts. Rolanda
I
Watts.
don't know, her last name was called Rolanda. It was an
And she was
awesome
on the
TV show.
news.
She had a talk show called Rolanda.
Yeah, she was Rolanda Watts.
Oh, is that who it was? I loved
Mm-hmm.
her.
Me
Yeah,
too.
she was good. I liked her. Yeah. Mhm. Well,
Mm-hmm.
congratulations, Rolanda. What color do you want? Ask her what color she wants.
What color is
We
she in?
got the
If you're
black
not in here, we giving it up.
or the white.
If you don't
Well, we
say,
can.
oh, there she goes. I'm like, if you don't say you're in here, you lost. No, she's here. What color do you want, Rolanda? White or black? Black or white? Which one do you want? She's in her. She's in here.
Okay, well, she can email it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
is
when
there?
you send me her address, let me know which color she wants.
I definitely will.
Thank
Is
you.
there any? You gave us advice. You just gave us so many gems all night long. So I was gonna ask if you had any advice, but let's close it out with that, right? Do you have any advice for new makers and makers that are stuck right now? Do you have any advice for them?
Um, I think my best advice would be to narrow your focus. I think that's probably the best advice I can give because if you're stuck, it probably means that you're overwhelmed. And if you're overwhelmed, it probably means you have so much data and content coming in that you can't even hear yourself think. Like you can't
That's
even
right.
decide what you want to do because you have so much coming at you. So I think it's really important to focus and to just like turn off some of that stuff and turn off what everybody's telling you should do and really decide for yourself what it is that you want to do and just get started. Like
Yes.
take the first step because listen, you can't do all the things when you're starting out. Like pick one thing and start with that. There are a lot of single product brands that are very successful. We have a member who started 2 years ago with one product. One product. She was profitable in 3 months. 3 months with one product, and she's been in like 30 different magazines. Right? She's not that heavy into social media because the magazine started picking her up. And once one magazine picks you up, so this was her business model. She didn't want to have all the things. She didn't want to be on all the social media. She just wanted to focus on one product and see if she could get the media attention. And that's what has built her business. So she's not on YouTube. She has an Instagram page. I think she posted in April 2022. Right. So this is what I mean. Like, find where you feel like you want to focus and just take action and start there, but build a barrier around yourself because if all of the information is coming at you like a fire hose, it will stop you like a fire hose would stop you
Right.
because you just won't know which way to go and it'll be constantly overwhelming you. Use a planner, doesn't have to be this one, and be accountable to yourself. What are you going to do in quarter 4? What are your big 3 goals in the fourth quarter? You have one product launch that product and sell the heck out of it over
That's
Christmas,
right.
and then launch another one in January. Or like be really focused. So I
Mm-hmm.
hope that helps. I can
It
I can
definitely
help more
does.
specifically if I know exactly what you're doing, but in general, I think the biggest thing that's holding people back today is distraction and lack of focus.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
Oh,
agree.
Skinny Dips says we're speaking to her. You know how I know Skinny Dips? Because I do this. Like I do this. I get all the things. I've started so many little mini businesses. And if you Google deep enough, you'll find them. I just pretend like they don't exist because I got sidetracked. Like,
Mm-hmm.
please don't Google Donna Maria and the media is you. Okay. Don't Google that. But if you did, you would find my huge tangent. I spent years on that. It was a mess. Just focus.
Yes. And I think that is amazing. Jasmine Melissa says the same thing. She says, yes, because sometimes I feel like going back to the basics.
The
And
basics are important. The basics builds the business. Look,
the basics is the
business is
building
only
blocks.
about really one thing. As my brother told me, my brother's the smartest person on the planet. He said to me, all it is how can I help you while I make money? That's all it is. So that is what it is. So you have to sell something for more than you paid for it. That's it. If it costs you $10 for all your costs to make this candle, in order for you to make a profit, you got to sell that candle for at least $11 or $10.01. Now you want to sell it for more than that, but you get
That's
my point,
right?
right? That's all
right.
business is. You're selling it for more than you paid for it. That's it.
That's right. That's right. Easy. That's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
It's
That's a
basic.
very good, yeah, very basic that's explanation, because everybody they overthink, they get stuck, they get overwhelmed, and that is so simple and so easy. If you keep that in your mind, you kind of keep yourself on track.
Mm-hmm.
I make the thing
Mm-hmm.
and sell it for more than I paid for it, make my money back, make more of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this was
This is
so
fun.
good. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we were able to have this meeting. I'm so glad we had this live. Everybody is so appreciative that you were here and that you graced us with your presence. And that is it for tonight. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait to see what everybody does, because I know we're going to talk about it in the morning. Everybody's going to talk about if they joined. I'll know all of the tea tomorrow.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Like I'm the one who's honored to be here amongst all of you. It's a joy and I love it, and I'm just so thrilled that you spent your time with me. It's
Well,
a
I spent
pleasure.
so much time with you. I spent so much time with you already. So this is so good because, like I said, everything came full circle for me. So this was really good. It was really, really good. So thank you. And you have an amazing night.
Thank
Everybody, Miss
you.
Donna Maria of the Indie Business Network, you guys. Good
Thank you,
night.
everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.